Stream health is excellent. Tell father why were you so sad on this bright Easter morn. It is all about Celtic today. Yes, it is all about Celtic today. What will the scoreline to be? The stream is healthy, it's saying. So there should be no buffering on this one. I'll just turn that volume down a little bit because it should not affect that, but it says everything's good to go. I don't want myself on a full screen. I just want to hear the... Yeah, it's fine. Port Shop's in the house, Tommy's in the house, Tommy Williman's in the house, Morning Trips and Baz. Probably just lost hundreds of people that were on the earlier live, but we are back. Celtic today, go to Hampden in a vein of form that you've got to say, having lost against St Johnstone just a few weeks ago. Is it revenge? Is it a day for revenge? Or is it a day where Celtic just go out and... I don't want that on there, do I? Safari. Let me just do this. YouTube Studio. There we go. And we're live. Let's just get me onto that. And there we go. I can see everyone's comments again. There we go. We're fine. Everyone's back. The dog's barking because they're letting off fireworks. Yep, they let off fireworks on Christmas morning. Easter morning. I've closed all the tabs that I had down, which is not that great. Oh, damn. So what do you think the score today? I am still going to stick with 3-0 Celtic. I think that Celtic are going to go out and do the damage pretty much in the first half. I think they will go out and do the damage in the first half. What do you think? Do you think that Celtic will struggle today? Or do you think that Brendan Rodgers and the players will have that little thing when they drive along from Celtic Park today to Hampden Park and they... see the fans, and that's enough motivation for them to say, look, we've got a treble to go and win. It's in our hands. Just reading some of the comments. St John's will set up 3-5-2 today. It will be outnumbered in midfield. Stephen, I think that you're right about that, but I think that I've got a funny feeling that Brendan Rodgers is going to change tactics slightly today, and he'll play Greg Taylor from the start, and Greg Taylor will be more in the midfield to help the midfield three out. With St Johnstone having 5 in the midfield, we'll need to play fast attacking football. Remember that kind of football we were playing at the beginning of the season? The stuff that we're playing at the beginning of the season, we need to check it. We need to do that today. JJ says it'll be a cricket score. This team and manager absolutely love the National Stadium. Gus says it'll be 4-1. He reckons it'll be 4-1. Big Des says it'll be 5-0. Lanky says it'll be 5-0. Also, Paul Baird says, remember the fallen comrades, wear your Easter lily with pride today. Yes, Easter Sunday means a lot to Irish and the history of Ireland, especially with the Easter Rising in 1916. And it was one of the reasons that my gran moved to Scotland. Anyway, a long time ago now, and Celtic have got to wear their Easter lilies. They know where. I wonder if they'll have, because Celtic usually have an Easter strip, don't they? A little Irish connection. I wonder if they'll do that today. They usually come out and tell us beforehand, but maybe not. So score lines today and rumours. There's not that much rumours going around because I think that Brendan Rodgers seems to have got rid of any leaks that was in the Celtic camp. I'm just seeing Celtic's dominance in numbers. It's always weird when you're not going to the National Stadium. I mean, having spent so many years going to the National Stadium for these games, it's now weird when I'm sitting looking at Facebook and you see all your mates going down to the getting ready to go to the boozers and getting ready for the buses. They're in the pub already because they're waiting on the buses. Some buses are going through early, some buses are leaving it till later on, some buses are just leaving it'd be 9 o'clock as normal to get through and get to the pubs beforehand, and fair play to them because it takes a lot of organisation. Anyway, St Johnstone versus Celtic in today's semi-final at Hampden. It will be on BBC Sport website. Is it on what TV? I don't know what telly. Celtic won their first of 18 Scottish Cup finals when they emerged in the 12th of March 1892. The cup final was played at the home of the Deadco. Yes, when Celtic won their first Scottish Cup, it was played at Ibrox. The new stand's been erected at Ibrox at that time. There was a record crowd of 40,000 people watched Celtic lift their first Scottish Cup back in 1892. Snow covered half the pitch that day, but Celtic emerged victorious. Get in. And then that led just for them to be the most successful club in the tournament, really, from that on. And we've never looked back. There's been a couple of rare defeats. Celtic head to Hampden on Sunday, having won the Scottish Cup on the previous two occasions. They've been defeated by Inverness Cali. Remember that day back in 2023? No, they weren't. They defeated Inverness Cali, sorry, and then they went to the final in 2023. My head's up my arse this morning. I've got a sore head, hangover day. Anyway, it's all about 4 in a row this year. It is all about 4 in a row, and get your 4 in a row t-shirt, the first link that's in the comments section. Do you know when you really could just do with being at the game today? I'm having one of those days. This is not going to be a long live. Let's jump into the comments. This will get me out of it. 119 trophies later, says Brown Warrior. Yes. Hope wee Jamesy scores soon, says Hail Hail the Boys. Not many football teams win a quadruple. Celtic are one of those teams to do so. They are that. Roger Smith says, good morning. Hope you all have a super Sunday. I've put a wee Maida hat trick on the bet today. Pubs already? Yeah. I'd be pissed for 10 bills if I was boozed. Hitman Hart, we used to... where's that text going on? We used to go to the pub for breakfast. You would meet up, if it was 3 o'clock kickoff, I would get the bus meeting up for leaving at around about 9:15. So you would get to the pub, get some breakfast at the pub. You would be through to Glasgow about an hour and a bit. And then you would have a pub lined up in Glasgow, and you would have hotel lined up in Glasgow, and then you would have some food put on for the boys there as well. The good old days. That's one thing that I was good at, is getting pubs to put on a spread for us when we went to away days. Happy Easter to everyone. I've got something in my eye this morning. It's been doing my head in. Kuhn's form's dipped. If Jota came back, says hail hail the boys. I don't think that Kuhn will start today. I think Jamesy Forrest will start before Nico Kuhn. I definitely think that Nico Kuhn will be on the bench today. I don't think that he will start. I think James Forrest will start. Hope Engels gets his goal today. 3-0 Celtic, says Mark. Dan Cassie says, I think we James, my favourite player. Big CV has to play in the middle of the pitch. Carter Vickers has to play in the middle of the pitch. Celtic love the wide pitch at Hampden. They do. And there's been some fantastic goals at Hampden over the years from Celtic, especially that Tom Rodgick one. The Tom Rodgick one a few years back. Castlemilk boys do a walking bus to Hampden for cargo at Kings Park. That's the best bit. Let's just get into the final today, and it'll be a good day's work. Does it matter how Celtic play today? Does it really matter? Do we want fast-paced attacking football? St Johnstone are going to flood the midfield and try and make it as difficult as they can for Celtic. They're going to have 2 strikers up front. Not jealous of that much. I think that Celtic should be playing 2 strikers up front, but that's an issue for Brendan Rodgers to sort out for next season. Lanky says it'll be Sinisalo, Alistair Johnson, CCV, Scales, Taylor, Callum, Engels, Rio, Forrest, Adam, Ida and Dyson Maida. There will be a live an hour and a half before kick-off this afternoon, where we'll get the team as it comes through. Paul Baird says that Forrest will score a double today. If James Forrest scores a double today, that would just be unbelievable. It would be fantastic. It would be absolutely fantastic. Adam Ida hat trick. It's going to be a cricket score. If Dyson Maeda is going to score a few, if James Forrest is going to score a few, and if Adam Ida is going to score a hat trick, Jesus, that takes it to 7. Will Celtic win? Let's do a poll. Let's do a poll. No disrespect to any St Johnstone fans out there, but well. There we go. There's a poll for you this Sunday morning. Will Celtic score more than 3 goals today at Hampden? And the National Stadium, Lanky's team but Kuhn instead of Forrest. James on second half, in my opinion, says Pork Chop Express. Make sure you join us an hour and a half before the game, before kick-off. And if you are in one of the boozers, just start walking down to the stadium. And if you are going to the stadium today, there was a bit of a nightmare yesterday, as expected. I mean, what could go wrong? Digital tickets and everybody trying to get in 10 minutes before kick-off. Make sure that you do get to the game at least half an hour before kick-off, minimum, to make sure that you can get in early enough, because I think that there's going to be a lot of nonsense going on at the turnstiles with these digital tickets today, which I think is complete. It's unbelievable, but it is what it is in Scottish football. They want to track and trace everybody. They want to know the name of every single person that goes into the ground, and they want to know exactly where they are sitting. So I'm glad I don't miss that side of it. Will Celtic score more than 3 goals today? There's been 59 votes so far. 90% say yes. 8% say yes. And 12% say no. So let's get this up to at least 2. Let's see if we can hit. Can we hit 500? No, we can't. There's only 198 people on. Let's see if we can get over 200 votes on the poll this morning. There's been 287 viewers so far. Text the video, send the video to your mates, hit that wee share and send it, and just so we can get as many people on the poll today to vote. So send it to all your Celtic mates and say go on and vote, even if they're only on for the minute, even they only come on just to vote. Just tell them to click on the video and come and vote. Will Celtic score more than 3 goals today? My digital is flashing already. God. Flashed already. It's going to be like meltdown. Happy Easter to all the Celtic families, says Thomas. Football is ruined these days. Too much politics involved, says Lanky. I don't think that the politics. I think that the politics off the terraces. I don't think it's politics. I think it's too much. Too many chiefs and not enough Indians, as they say, innit? But yeah, there's too many people want to have their say in Scottish football, and I think that it just ruins the game altogether. And I think that Police Scotland and the Scottish Government trying to crack down on this, that and the next thing, and it's been proven over the years that, look, people just want to go to games and have a good time. Pyro is something completely different. Was there pyro at the game yesterday? There was a little bit of pyro for the Aberdeen fans, not much, but let's just hope there's not any pyro today. I think that we can all agree that the pyro scene, as much as both ultras groups enjoy it, it's doing more harm to Celtic than good. Police Scotland are their worst at their worst track and trace. Yeah, exactly, Paul. And they've tried to, and it doesn't help that Celtic have got ex-coppers head of security at Celtic. It doesn't help whatsoever. But anyway, Big Des has got the grandkids. He's on breakfast duty. The house is like a Celtic shop. It's still the best. Daniel Duffy says, can't wait to get my hoops and get my tracksuit and grab a few in the pub. It's all good. Willie says it's going to be 4-0 today. Crystal ball is fucked. It has been for a while. Willie says it's going to be 4-0. I'm just trying to see. Just Let's see. Gary Boy says it's going to be 4-0. 4-0 today. 4-0. Do you think it's going to be 4-0? Anyway, get voted on the poll. Will Celtic score more than 3 goals today? There is only 80 odds. The dominance by Celtic in the Scottish Cup. Celtic have lifted the Cup 6 times in the last 8 seasons, with only St Johnstone Rangers breaking their grip on the trophy temporarily. People forget that St Johnstone were a more successful team than the New Cold Rangers at one point. They have won it 7 times. Celtic have won the Scottish Cup 7 times in their last 11 seasons. They demolished 6-1. They demolished Hibs 6-1. Hibs travelled to Hampden back in 1972, full of confidence. But they suffered a shock loss. Trebles in Lennox. Celtic have won the domestic treble a record 8 times and on course for another, having already lifted the League Cup and leading the way for the Premier League title by 15 points this season. Celtic last won the treble in the 2022-2023 season under Ange Postecoglou. 8 is also the record number of Scottish Cup final appearances held by the legendary winger Bobby Lennox. How many cup finals has Callum McGregor been in then? There we go. Celtic equalled Queen's Park record of 10 Scottish Cup final wins in March 2023. It's interesting to know that Queen's Park had won it 10 times before 1923. New leaders 2 seasons after equalling Queen's Park, Celtic became the first club to surpass that total. Patsy Gallagher and Jimmy McGrory scored goals. And against Dundee, 75,000 at Hampden. Willie Maley's boss, Jimmy McGrory's cup-winning team, leaving Rangers behind. Rangers have never matched Celtic's total of Scottish Cup final wins since they levelled the score at 31 back in 2023. That was the first time it had been levelled since the Parkside. Since Celtic beat Ibrox 3-2 to lift the trophy for the 4th time in 1904. It is the Celtic Cup, isn't it? Celtic have now lifted the Scottish Cup 42 times after last season's win over Rangers, thanks to Adam Ida's last-minute winner. Adam Ida, who, if you remember, that ball came in. Adam Ida's remembered for that goal, but it was Paulo Bernardo that made the goal for Adam Ida that day. It was Paulo Bernardo. If you remember that Paulo Bernardo grabs the ball in midfield, goes through 2 or 3 players, takes an absolute wicked shot outside the box. Rangers keeper parries it back out. Adam Ida's there to slip the ball right past him into the back of the net. And it's happy days for Celtic. They went on to win the cup. Callum's been in 14 cup finals. Yeah, I think that BBC article's full of shite. It's the BBC, what do you expect? I thought he'd been on more than Bobby Lennox. Anyway. So Adam Ida is remembered for scoring the winning goal. But for me, it was Paulo Bernardo that day that made the difference in the second half. Paulo Bernardo was absolutely on form and made such a difference. Will Paulo Bernardo even get a look in today? I think he will in the second half. I think Paulo Bernardo will come on in the second half. Who else do you think will be on the bench today? Tony Ralston will be on the bench. I'm going to leave that one and we'll wait and see once the boss sends out that team sheet an hour and 50. Well, Celtic send out the team sheet an hour and 15 minutes before. There's 96 votes on the poll. 90% say Celtic will score more than 3 goals today. 10% say no. 10% say no. Let me see if there's any new news. I'm sure Sinisalo states that he's not going to take a penalty today. Yeah, we knew that. Rogers in the dark of new Taylor talks progress. Barcelona prospect worth 6 million release clause attracting Borussia Dortmund. Alex Baye. Yeah, we all knew that Alex Baye had a 6 million release clause. Borussia Dortmund are interested in Alex Bailly. After what Alex Bailly did in the Champions League this season, the young left back is currently under a contract with Barcelona until 2026. He's not going to. He's staying at Barcelona. Barcelona already said that he's one for next season and he'll get a new extended contract. What a nonsense. His loan to Celtic gave him valuable experience. Is that fireworks? Spanish are mad, man. They're mad for fireworks. Loads of fireworks going off. Easter morning, it must be that time. Oh yeah, it is. Just mass is finished. Brendan Rodgers never really gave Alex a chance, to be fair, says Paul Baird. Alex Bailly has played 11 games for his loan club. 5.5 hours to go. Someone's got the Celtic website open. I know you don't like that noise. Let me just do this. The countdown timer says there is exactly 5 hours, 29 minutes and 54 seconds to go until Celtic take to the pitch at Hampden. And that's why the fireworks is going off, because they all know that Celtic's playing today. That's the real thing. 105 votes, 86%. Oh, it's changing. A lot of people thinking that Celtic will not score 3 goals today at Hampden. If you don't think so, tell us why. But as Bobby Lennox has been quite a few losing finals in the league, our luck, let's not talk about that. That was back in the good old days. No, it wasn't really, was it? It was during the 70s where Celtic had kind of lost. They lost their way a bit after being so successful. And gladly that hasn't happened this time. Gladly, after winning 9 in a row for the second time as a club, Celtic have not lost their way they did back in the 1970s. They had a little blip year, and we have to give credit to the board when credit is due. Having lost the 10 in a row year, Celtic then went out and got a manager in Ange Postecoglou. Do we regret? Now here's a poll for you. Do you regret not getting the manager that is now at, and it has been at Newcastle since then? It's not the day for it. But would you have preferred Eddie Howe as manager, considering what he's done at Newcastle? I think it's going to be a really close game, mate, says Stephen Johnson. I think so. Do you think that Eddie Howe would have been better than Ange Postecoglou, considering that Eddie Howe in the last 4 transfer windows has not spent a penny? He's not spent a penny. Calmac never lost a final he's played in, says Kevin. And there you go. No way Baz for Howie, says hail the boys. I mean, it was a touch of fate, wasn't it, that he decided not to come to Celtic because he couldn't get his staff. And then we got Ange Postecoglou. I didn't want Howie or Brendan. I wanted Enzo to join us. How many seconds? Eddie Howe, not a chance, says Tam Mac. I think it was kind of written in the stars, wasn't it? I think it was always written in the stars for. She's all right. I think it was kind of written in the stars when Ange Postecoglou came to Celtic. He was always going to use Celtic as a stepping stone to get into one of the higher leagues. And let's be fair, that was the only reason that he took the job, because he knew that he could perform well at Celtic. Celtic were a team that had been winning and then lost, and then he said that he likes to take underdogs on, hence the reason that he went to Tottenham. But anyway, he's in the past, and Brendan Rodgers came back, and Brendan Rodgers has that chance to get us to Hampden again and win another treble. 19,000, fuck off, 1968. Stephen Johnson, don't even try and type it up when it gets down a bit more. Not a chance. Eddie hasn't the bottle to come to Glasgow, says Paul Baird. So, Paul Baird, are you now glad that Brendan Rodgers has remained at Celtic then? Just checking the health seems still fine. I wonder what was up earlier. Dan Cassie says he's going to think that Big Brendan is going nowhere. He says that CV and Adam Ida are class. They are that. Adam Ida will come good. I'm sure that Adam Ida, given his chance at Hampden, will score a goal today. But I think he will definitely come on as a substitute late in the second half. 114 votes with over 595 people being on the live. And there's only 114 votes came in. Anyway, that's enough of that nonsense BBC and Barcelona article. There is 5 hours, 25 minutes and 36 seconds until the cup semi-cup final at Hampden. Still absolutely nothing when it comes to Celtic transfer talk. There's nothing at all, just no links, nothing, which is completely weird at this time of year, because I looked back to the videos last year and there was always a little bit of transfer speculation. Always a little bit of transfer speculation. I think the big one for Celtic this year is going to be Jeremy Frimpong. I think Frimpong getting his transfer this year and Celtic getting a big bit off of that. But other than that, there is absolutely nothing. And I wonder if Celtic will come out with any good news next week. Anyway, it's about time to finish up the poll. We'll wait till it gets 120 votes. Nope, still want Brendan Rodgers gone. He can take Taylor with him. Brown Warrior says Paul Baird. Has the Lego peeps going for my morning swim, says Richard. I still say Brendan will sign a 3-year deal. Will Brendan Rodgers sign a 3-year deal? That will make him one of the longest serving Celtic managers. It will put him up there in the top 3. JJ says Adam Ida's numbers off the bench are great. He's the main when he gets regular starts. I think once he gets a regular match, your watch is wrong. 35 seconds. It's not my watch. I'm on the Celtic website. The Celtic website now says 5 hours, and remember there's a bit of delay on this as well. So 5 hours, 23 minutes and 50 seconds, according to the Celtic website. In fact, we should have put the timer up there, match centre. I wonder if... it doesn't give you the timer. Anyway, I'm done and dusted for this morning. I will be back. 122 votes, that'll do. It's only one way that's going. We better have a good summer transfer this year. Surely the board won't risk being idle again. I don't think they were idle last summer. I just think that they were lackadaisical and they weren't in a rush to do things. And I think that frustrated Brendan, but we could talk about that before the game today. I would love to see Brendan do the 10 at Celtic and really write himself into the history books. Could you imagine that? I mean, he would need to stay for another 6 seasons, and I can't see him doing that, to be honest. I mean, we're at 4 in a row. Can you really see one manager? No. No. And I'll be honest, I think that people will get up with these. Can Brendan Rodgers... Well, here's a question for you, Brown Warrior. Can Brendan Rodgers evolve his football and his tactics? When he came to Celtic the first time, he was classed as a tactical genius. The tactical genius side of Brendan Rodgers seems to have slipped in his older age as he's hit 50. As he's went into his 50s, he seems to have lost that tactical astuteness until, morning from Donegal, until it came to that game. And you could say that in Italy, Brendan Rodgers' tactical astuteness came into play then. But can you imagine Celtic fans having to watch this type of football for the next 6 seasons? It's fine when it goes well, but when it's the side-to-side passing stuff, and you would kind of hope that Scottish football would maybe change a bit. But anyway, Lorna Gallagher's in the house. Lorna, where you been? Have a great day, Easter. Anyway, I will be back an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 45 minutes before the game today. We'll come on a bit earlier today since it is semi-final day and it is Hampden Day, just to get everyone in the mood. I still want to hold on to Brenda. He does a great job with us, says Daniel Duffy. Daniel Duffy gets the last comment of this morning. Make sure that you click the link that's in the description of this video to grab your 4-in-a-row champions. And when the treble comes out, don't worry, there'll be a treble champions t-shirt. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic day, and I'll see you, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world, and I'll see you in just a couple of hours.